Welcome back to the Celtics Nation Rise podcast, episode 72, presented by Celtics Talk Weekly. I'm your host, Griffin Aldrich. Alongside me, we have my co-host, Daniel Miguel, and we have a very special guest. You guys know him from the fan series, and you guys have to go check out his podcast if you haven't already. Marty the Meat Man. Marty, you gave us a great intro last time, but if you want to give everyone an intro again, because this might be their first time seeing you on here, but give a quick intro really quick.
Yeah, as Griffin said, I'm Marty the Meat Man. Thank you guys for having me on again. Happy to actually chop it up and talk some hoop with some more gusto behind it. Uh, as Griffin said, I have my own podcast, Cross Court Coverage. We're on audio only, so you don't usually get to see this mug. I have a face for radio. That's why I hide.
I love it. I love it. No, yeah. And if you haven't, go check out episode 61, 2 of the fan series, where we talk with Marty the Meat Man about his Celtics fandom. But you said it today we're talking some ball. We talked a little bit then, but now today we're actually going to be going through it for a full episode on episode 72. So if you haven't, make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications. But without further ado, let's talk about some breaking news because preseason came and left, and it was quick. I mean, preseason that went by in a snap. But if you guys just wanted, because I was on post game show last night, but we'll start off with you, Marty, and then go to Daniel. If you wanted to say your thoughts overall on preseason, just to start off before we get into the breaking news, where are your thoughts on the Celtics this preseason?
I think the preseason was good. I think we got to get a taste of the new guys. I think we got to see how some rotations may play out. Joe's going to have fun this season. I think he's going to, be able to switch it up, mix it up, and really put some things out there that we may not have seen before. And I was relatively impressed with a lot of the new guys. Garza and Minot were, relatively impressive to me. Thank you, Timberwolves, for just giving up on that. Like, I'll take that project.
I love it.
Shireman, a little bit of a slump, but I have faith in him, and I have faith in this coaching staff that he'll get out of it. Shooting slumps are shooting slumps. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this team rolls in and day out. I don't think we have a clear starter at the 5. I honestly don't think we should have a clear starter at the 4 either. I think Joe should take it situationally based off of the lineup the roster that we have, and set the lineups based off of our opponents and just have fun with it. I think he's going to have his best year of coaching because he's going to be able to do the most rather than just having a locked in super team.
I love it. I that was a great perspective of it, and you couldn't have said it better there, because I completely agree with you. This year, as I've said, is going to be more so a developmental year for the Boston Celtics. It's going to be mixing up lineups, seeing what works, and until Tatum comes back, seeing what this roster can be. But Daniel, you go ahead. What are your thoughts from preseason?
I thought it was good, like all around, like for every team, but specifically for the Celtics, I thought it was really good to see what everyone had to offer. Um, uh, like Marty said, yeah, Garza and Minot, those guys are gonna be good.
Oh yeah.
Another guy that impressed me was Chris Boucher. I think I'm gonna have fun seeing him. I like him a
Oh yeah.
lot. I like what it brings to the team, and yeah, it's gonna be a really fun season. After that 30-point game from White, I'm just so excited for it, man. I can't wait. But yeah, I think we can officially stop the tanking season, like allegations and stuff like that, because I really do not and never did think that was gonna happen, especially not with Joe Mazzulla as our coach and with the guys that we still have on our team, even though Tatum's on his way back surprisingly fast. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun season, and yeah, like Griffin said, it's gonna be a developmental year for most of these guys, and I can't wait to see what Joe's cooking up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, well said right there. I mean, and I love your point from it's not going to be a tanking season. I
No,
mean,
not at all.
No way.
I think, and Marty, if you wanted to brush up on that a little more too, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that, you know, at the beginning of the offseason, I could understand people thinking that or worrying about that because, we had to blow up the team and, what's it going to look like? But we still have JB. Derek White is going to be an all-star this season. Peyton Pritchard proved that he can play hoop. And we have a whole bunch of guys that we collected. I mean, Brad's a genius, and Joe's a psycho, but also a genius. So I have faith in these guys. We were the second seed last year. God forbid we fall to a play-in team that's still a playoff team, because I know this team isn't going to give any quit in a game that makes them go to the playoffs. I know that. And like you said,
Dan.
Daniel, Joe Mazzulla isn't a loser. Joe Mazzulla has a 74% career winning percentage. He doesn't want that to go down.
Hell
And
yeah.
he's going to tell them that that's on them if it goes down.
Not happening. Yeah.
I have to say, you guys have me hyped up for the season. Like, can it be tonight? Like, can this be like a podcast right before we go into opening night? Like, I'm hyped up now, so I'm ready for that. But I just have to say too, there was some breaking news right before the preseason game yesterday, and I wanted to hear your guys' thoughts on that. The first news, and we'll talk about what news broke this morning, but yesterday, I think it was yesterday, it might have been the day before, but RJ Lewis, Celtics two-way player who they got for George Niang, and before that traded Porzingis for George Niang. So Porzingis ended up to be nobody at the end of the day. And you guys look at that, they waive RJ Lewis Jr. And what are your guys' thoughts? And we'll go Marty, Daniel, and then me. But what were your initial thoughts on that? And now, obviously, we're going to talk about that in a minute, but now signing Ron Harper Jr. to a two-way contract. But Marty, what were your initial thoughts when, your prized possession that you get for Porzingis ends up waived? I mean, did you see it coming, or what were your thoughts?
I didn't see it coming. I think that RJ Lewis has some talent, and he could have been a developmental piece for the Celtics on a two-way contract, but it's the NBA. A two-way contract doesn't really mean anything, and it comes and goes. I think the biggest pain point here, and again, Brad's paid the big bucks. Brad knows more than I do. They have, they're moving mountains while I'm making molehills, but the most we get out of this is two player exceptions, trade exceptions. We have a 22.5 million trade exception from KP and an $8.2 million trade exception from Niang. And we lost picks.
We lost picks.
We waived a player to lose picks and get trade exceptions. It's a little bit of a head scratcher, but we have to blame the NBA and the second apron and all that for that happening. And I have to brush myself up on when those trade exceptions end. But if they go into next offseason, then maybe we can do something crazy with them. But I know this year they want to stay under that first apron, or in that first apron. So it sucks in the long short. We trade KP and then we get a little bit worse, and then we get a little bit worse, and then we have nothing. So it's interesting.
It really is, and it hurts when you said it like that too, because it's the truth. We went from KP to not even a single pick. We lost it. So, but Daniel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, like Marty said at the beginning, it was kind of a head scratcher. I was like, what are we doing here? Like, like what is going on? I understand like the famous saying in Celtics Nation, like let Brad cook, but like in the beginning, I was like, Brad, what are we cooking here?
Yeah.
Where are the spices? Like what's going on? But I think, yeah, Marty said it best. It's the NBA, especially with those aprons. It's going to be tough to for a team to know exactly what they're going to be doing in the off season, and I think it mostly speaks for the tight ship that that Joe runs, and that Brad runs, for the fact that RG Lewis wasn't part of the squad and isn't going to be a part of the squad for the season. I think it speaks more to the high standard that they both have for the team, and I think we could kind of see it as a positive thing in that aspect where, Brad runs a tight ship, so does Joe, and so they want the best guys on the team. Hopefully, Ron Harper Jr. is going to prove that he's made the squad for a reason. So yeah, it's going to be fun to see what he has to bring. But also, yeah, I was really excited to see what RG Lewis is going to bring. But yeah, again, it's the NBA. Things like that happen all the time, and yeah, it was honestly sad. But I think I'm more hopeful now.
And I'm gonna say something that Seamus said. So credit to Seamus, but he went with this. The Celtics kind of wanted to go with the unknown rather than the known. And they kind of flipped the script on us because originally you're bringing in a guy like RJ Lewis who went undrafted, hasn't had any NBA experience. Now you're bringing him onto a team for a two-way contract, and you get this prized possession in Ron Harper Jr., and you get the opportunity to sign him again to a training camp deal. And you look at this and it's like, he's too valuable to let go. And I think in a sense where they're like, all right, there might be some teams kind of giving him a little interest, and we don't want him to go anywhere because if you guys don't remember from last year, he was with the Maine Celtics and then got picked up from the Pistons and signed a two-way contract. So the Celtics are like, we're not letting him go. And they obviously saw something that Ron Harper Jr. probably had a practice behind closed doors where we didn't see, was probably outworking RJ Lewis. And ultimately in training camp, those two-way contracts are not guaranteed. You have guys who are going to work hard and fight and claw their way to get that two-way contract from you. And ultimately, I think that's what it came down to. I don't doubt that RJ Lewis is going to be a solid player. I think that he has good talent, and I could see him being on the Maine Celtics. It looks like he's going to go that way and play on the Maine Celtics, and I could see this guy being something. However, I haven't even seen him in NBA competition much. You haven't got a huge sample size of it. So it's like Seamus said, all right, let's go to the unknown and see what we could find. However, your two unknown guys in RJ Lewis and Hayden Gray both are gone. I mean, you waived Hayden Gray to make room for Wendell Moore, and it's like they're kind of going with the known because the known guys are going to outwork these unknown guys, and they're going to show that they're willing for a roster spot. But what are your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, I don't know. What about you, Marty?
I think that's an interesting take on it. I think going with the unknown is definitely what they wanted to do. And I think that there has to be some truth in the fact that there was more dog in the fight in like Ron Harper than the other guys. Because like you said, I mean, we didn't see a lot of RJ Lewis in the preseason at all. We saw him in summer league a little bit, but we didn't see him in the preseason. We saw Ron Harper in the preseason. And, you know, like, yeah, we traded KP and Georgie's Niang to eventually get you RJ Lewis, but if someone's putting in the work, putting in the hours, like if he's showing up at practice and dogging somebody, like, you know, Joe Mazzulla is the kind of guy to go, Brad, that's the guy. Like, I like this kid. You know, this RJ Lewis kid, maybe, but that's the guy. And if, you know, I think there had to be something in practice, in, you know, workouts, in just his effort, because I also think that he had more to prove. You know, as an undrafted player in RJ Lewis, it's great that, you know, he was signed to the Jazz and then traded to us, but he was an undrafted player. Ron Harper's trying to prove that he deserves to be in the NBA, and he's already gone through the ringer a little bit. And that puts a chip on your shoulder, and I'm sure that chip on his shoulder was shown, and I'm sure he's, you know, he got the two-way contract for a reason. We may not know why, but he got it.
He did. And I said this last night off camera or anything to Seamus. We were talking about, like, what guy do you think fills in that two-way contract, or do they keep it open? And I immediately said, I think it's going to be Ron Harper Jr. or Wendell Moore Jr. because, you know, Ron Harper shows something, but I also think this is a guy who I think is too valuable to let go. And I'm not saying he's an all-star. I'm not even saying he's a star. He might not even be a bench player because you see a two-way contract. That's a guy at the bottom of your roster where you're not going to play unless you're getting blown out or you're blowing out a team. Right. So it's usually not a guy that you're going to give a lot of minutes. However, the NBA sees something in him because the Pistons have and the Celtics have, because this is a guy that they keep going back on. And what are your thoughts on that, Daniel?
Yeah, like you said, and like Marty said, there must have been something like off camera that we haven't seen to make Mazzulla and wow, I'm blanking.
Brad Stevens.
Brad Stevens Stick with him
Math is the
over
best of us.
over RJ Lewis. But yeah, I think it's gonna be the same thing I said. Like they both run a tight ship, and I think it might have just been the fact that like Marty said, Ron Harper had more to prove. Ron Harper showed more fight. Ron Harper was more of a dog. So yeah, it's gonna be some stuff like that that are gonna make a manager or a coach pick one guy over the other. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what Ron has to offer and has to prove to himself and to the fans after Missoula and Stevens picked him.
Well, do you have anything else to say on Ron Harper Jr., Marty?
No, I mean, for anyone who's not really familiar with this game, he had a serviceable summer league. He had a pretty good preseason. He shot really well from beyond the arc, which definitely speaks to Missoula ball. I mean, I think he was like at a 43% clip from beyond the arc. So, that's a darling in Missoula's eyes. So I think he's got some chops, and he'll definitely help Maine out, and he'll help the Celtics out in those dog day games in the middle of January and February where we're resting guys, and it's right before the All Star, right after All Star, but we might see him in a couple games here and there, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for it. I'm happy for the guy. I'm glad he got a deal. Sucks for RJ Lewis, but I can see him getting picked up by some team.
I agree. I see a similar route, kind of that Ron Harper Jr. went in last year. Now, obviously, I don't know because I don't know how RJ Lewis is going to respond to NBA or G League competition because, again, that's an unknown player and you're bringing him into the NBA. He could either excel and do amazing, or he could really be a player where you're like, all right, well, this is a player who are maybe overseas. He obviously has some talent, but not enough that you could see those for RJ Lewis. However, with Ron Harper Jr., this is a guy who you already saw be in the NBA. You've already seen him get experience. And I want to brush up on this because I actually had the opportunity to meet him in Maine. And I'm going to flash this picture really quick. And I saw him play for the Maine Celtics. And it was visible when I saw him play for the Maine Celtics that I said, this is a guy who I see end up being in the NBA in some sort of way. He was a guy who was coming off of the bench for the Maine Celtics, sometimes starting, give or take, either six man or right on in the starting lineup. But that's a guy who could give you a quick three. And that's the type of energy that Joe Mazzulla loves. And that's the type of energy, as you said, Marty, the Celtics love. And this is a guy who they look very highly on. And I'm a big fan of him. I mean, I saw him play in the G League, and we're going to get the opportunity to see him play in the G League again. And this is a guy who his brother has proven a lot more, being the second round pick in the NBA draft. And this is a guy who I look at and I'm like, he's not going to try to let his brother outwork him. He's going to play hard too, and he's going to fight for a spot. So who knows what the ceiling can be for Ron Harper Jr. Do you guys know how old he is? If not, I'm going to check it right now because I'm
No,
very
I do not
curious
know
on
off the
that.
top of my head. He can't be
Harper.
that old.
Yeah, let's see. He's
25.
25. Oh,
Yeah.
we got it at the same time. So 25. It's like, can there still be something there? I mean, he's around the same age as Baylor Shireman. And with Baylor Shireman, you're still waiting for him to blossom into something. Ron Harper Jr. could be that same guy. I mean, this is a guy who he's got a little taste of the NBA, but not enough. But anything else you guys want to say more on Ron Harper Jr. before we move on?
No, I think that's
No,
it. I mean, I think it's really just a wait and see.
It really is. This is one guy, though, I don't think that we're going to be, hitting our head against the wall being like, why did we waive RJ Lewis? This was a big mistake. I don't see that happening. I see this. I personally think it was a better option. What do you guys think it was a better option, or did you guys like the unknown rather than the known?
I'd rather take a guy that I've seen hoop.
I
I
agree.
like a guy with tape.
I'm in the same situation because I would rather, like, I know what this guy can do. RJ Lewis, it's like this could be a guy where you're like, I don't even know about you. Like, and yeah,
Right.
exactly. This is a guy where it's like it's 50-50. And you're gonna see this. This might be a big now I might be eating my words. We might be down the road and being like, should have took RJ Lewis.
Right.
But as of right now, I think the higher ceiling is Ron Harper Jr., but it's still up in the air. But with that being said, NBA season is right around the corner. And honestly, we're coming up on our 1 year of Celtics Nation Rise. So we'll clap for that 1 year.
Yeah.
But I do have to say is one thing we did is we started, I think, the day or two before opening night. So we're getting used to podcasts. But this year, we're going to hear your guys' perspective. We're going to be doing this over at Celtics Talk Weekly too. So go check that out for season predictions. But we're doing season predictions here too. And Marty, we could start with you and we could go around, but let's go with standings first. Okay. And let's start off with the Eastern Conference because, that's the Celtics conference and that's going to be the tough one. And I want us to add a little suspense to it. So we'll go 15-1. And Marty, I want to start off with you. We'll go Daniel and me. So if you wanted to just take a second, give your 15-1 standings for Eastern Conference.
Yes. So down at 15, I mistyped because I wrote the Heat, and I was like, "That's not right."
Do you want me to
that
go?
Would be wild. No, I have it. It's 15. Gosh. I have the Nets. I think they've got pieces. They had a lot of draft capital, and they made all of their picks almost. But I think drafting 5 guards and having Nick Claxton and Cam Thomas and no Cameron Johnson, what are we doing? I think Brooklyn's going to go and get the first overall pick or get screwed in the lottery. But I think they're going to be the worst team in the East.
That's a hot one. So let's do that. Who do you have at 15, Daniel?
Oh, Nets as well. Yeah, same thing.
There you go.
Yeah, I felt the exact same way about them. Yeah, literally the same thing. I don't know what the GM was doing with that. It was so confusing. Yeah.
Point guard.
I'm going a little different route. I have Wizards at 15. I just think they're very, you could play with the Wizards or the Nets at number 15, but I still think they're in a kind of downward spiral. And it's like, what are we doing? They're like a helicopter that's out of control. And it's like, oh my gosh, help, panic. But who do you got at 14, Marty?
I have the Wizards at 14. So
all right, so a little flip-flop. What about you? I don't even think you need to explain yourself on that one.
Yeah, no, they're a mix of old and young, and I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing. They're at 14 for me.
I have the Hornets at 14.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think. Yeah. Hold on. Let's look at the squad for a little. Yeah. After losing. What's the center? Was supposed to go to the Lakers last season.
Mark Williams.
Mark Williams, yeah. After losing him, I feel like it's just they did acquire Colin Sexton and Mason Plumlee in the offseason, but I just feel like there's not much there besides Melo, Bridges, and Brandon Miller. I feel like after that, it's just a whole bunch of not really scrubs, but guys that are either haven't reached their potential yet or are way past their peak. So, yeah, I think Hornets.
I'm going Nets. So, Marty and I flip-flopped on that one, which I said we probably would. So, you guys gave me a great explanation. And I am interested by yours, Daniel. I really am. But who do you got at 13, Marty?
I mean, I feel like me and Daniel are clicking a little bit because I have Hornets at 13. They don't. The Hornets are going to be the Hornets every year. Melo's going to play 20 games and be injured half the year. Brandon Miller, we haven't seen him play a full season. Grant Williams is a starting player on their team. I think that's all we need to say.
That's valid. I'll have my take on them in a minute. But what about you, Daniel? Who do you have at 13?
I have the Wizards at 13.
There we go.
we have the same bottom three. Three. We can agree on that.
So you and Marty, were you guys conversating before this? Were you guys hey, this is what we're going with today? Because I have a little different one. I have the Bulls at 13. I just think, their rosters kind of went downhill, and I don't know. I don't see it, I could be completely wrong and I could be eating my words because it feels like the Bulls are usually a team that sneaks in there every year, no matter what their roster is. But I just don't see them being higher than 13. What about you, though, Marty? Who do you have at number 12?
So at number 12, I have the Miami Heat. They have been a perennial play-in team, but they do not have Jimmy Butler. They're trying to go with the core of Bam and Hero, with a supporting cast of Davian Mitchell and Jovic and
Norman Powell.
yeah, and Norman Powell and I just don't get it. Spoelstra's a hell of a coach. I give him his flowers, even though I hate him. I hate him because he's good. But I just think it falls apart a little bit this year, and maybe they'll get a good pick out of it.
I like it. What about you, Daniel?
A hot take? Not really a hot take, I guess. Raptors. I think
Wow.
Raptors down there. Yeah. Let's look at the squad for a sec. There's yeah, same thing as it's always been. I mean, as it's been for the past 3 seasons. Nothing new is happening over there. And I feel like it's just gonna be a downgrade season for them, with Scotty doing most of the work as usual. Yeah.
I have this is gonna be a hot one, I think, because how good they've been, but I have the Pacers at 12.
Whoa.
I know that's a hot take, and I knew to hear a reaction from this one because the Pacers, I think losing Miles Turner and you lose Halliburton, this might be one where I'm eating my words a lot because I don't see I don't know why I have them this low, and now that I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh, kind of mistake. Do I change it? But I'm gonna go with the list, and I think losing Miles Turner, that was a big thing, but I don't think they're going to be terrible. I think their ceiling can be an 8th seed. As I'm looking at my thing, I think their ceiling can be 8th seed, but I don't see them going higher than that. But I was just, can I switch it up? Can I switch it up for really quick? I know it's.
Do whatever you want.
Can I just do a little flip flop here? Because all right, I'm gonna put them at 11. I'm gonna put them at 11, and I'm gonna put the Heat at 12.
Okay. Well,
I'm gonna put.
I'm fine with that.
I'm putting the Heat at 12, and I'm putting Pacers at 11. I'm sorry for switching it up, but I don't see them being that low, but I don't see them being that good. So,
Yeah,
in that same explanation, that you guys said is with the Heat, I just again they're a rough one. They're a rough one. So
yeah.
we'll go. So I'll take the seat on number 11 then. And who do you have, Marty?
So for 11, I have the Bulls. I think that the team is, again, always one of those perennial play-in teams. They usually get into the 10 seed or 9 seed, but they've been subtracting year after year. They've lost DeRozan, they've lost Levine. They're going to lose Vucevic probably to the trade block. They've lost Lonzo. I don't think Giddey and Kobe White can lead a team. They'll be knocking on the door of the play-in, but I don't think they're going to be in the play-in.
I like that one. What about you, Daniel?
I think the Heat. Yeah, Heat 11th. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that.
I think that's they're just not going to be that team this year.
Yeah, no, they're not.
Is he Hero out right now too?
What?
Yeah, he's starting the season with a foot injury, I believe.
Who, Hero?
Yeah.
That's an ankle one.
Ankle.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be centered around Bam Adebayo and Norman Powell and Andrew Wiggins, Davion Mitchell, Khalil Ware. Terry Rozier is still under contract somehow.
Just a collection of guys.
Yeah, James Jackson Jr., just, a whole lot of randoms.
That's all right. So at 11 for me, you guys heard it, the Pacers. That still is a shocking one, I bet.
Still wild.
They have guys that can play at such a high level. I don't know. I just
I think Hallie being out is worth putting them. I think at their floor they could be that bad. I will agree with you. I don't have them that low, but I think at their floor they could be that bad.
Yeah, I agree. I think the highest they're gonna go though this season, and I'm saying highest, is 8 seed. Like I think they're gonna be in that thing. I think putting them at 11 was a little stupid by me, but all right, who do you got for number 10? I don't know. Who do you got for
number
10?
10, I have the Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
Just like Daniel said, it's the same thing, lather, rinse, repeat for the Raptors. They don't change their roster. They do the same thing every year. They'll be at 10. They might make they'll be the play-in team this year. That'll be their bump up. That'll be the exciting thing for them, and there'll be a bounce in the play-in game. So,
Who do you have, Daniel?
I think Magic. I want to
Ooh.
say. I think
What?
Magic 10th. I'm
Ooh.
looking at this. It's either Magic or I think Magic
Whoa.
Sixers or wait, hold on.
Whoa.
Hold on.
Whoa.
Magic's
Okay,
insane.
switch it up. Sorry,
That's a hot. I was gonna say
sorry.
that's a little like my Pacers one was hot, but that's a hot take.
Sorry, Hawks. Let's switch it out. Hawks at the 10.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's a better one. Yeah, I think Hawks at the 10.
That's less crazy.
Yeah.
That's definitely less crazy, but it's still a little iffy. All right, but
I mean, they were 8th seed last season, so I bet they're going to be in that like 8 to 10 range this upcoming season. Even with the duo of Trae Young and I guess Porzingis, I don't see. I guess we'll have to wait and see, but I might be wrong about that one. I don't know.
all right, you guys are gonna think this one's a hot take too. I have the Hornets. This is a team where they could suck, but at the same time, you got Colin Sexton. You have guys who I look at them and I feel like if they make the right moves, they could be on the rise up. You know, they have a lot of downsides. They have a lot of, LaMelo getting injured or anything. But if they stay healthy, and I'm still scratching my head about them waiving Dinwiddie today because I thought that was going to be another piece. And that's why I think they could have been higher for me. But now it's like, all right, they're trickling down because this is a team where I predicted when the Pistons were going to be good because I'm like, they have a team full of role players. Like they could be a solid team. I'm starting to get a similar vibe with the Hornets, but it's the fact, can they stay healthy? So that's why I have them at 10. But who do you have at 9, Marty?
So 9, I have your Boston Celtics.
Wow.
I have us parked at the 9 seed.
Wow.
I didn't want to go too homer and, lock us into a playoff position. I think we're going to be a play-in team. I think that it really depends on when Tatum comes back. If it's in March, then maybe we push a little further up the standings. If it's in April, then, he'll be there for the play-in game. But I think that giving a conservative 9th place to the Celtics, I'm sure everyone who's listening to this is freaking out because that's terrifying as a Celtics fan, being the 9 seed. But I think that's our floor. I think that this team is good enough and has a roster and has the coaching staff to get us to be at least the 9 seed. So I put us at our floor.
I love that one. It's a hot take, but it could totally be the case. I feel like, at least we're not saying like, back when, I don't even know when, at least we're not saying we're going to be the 15th seed, like, but there's a little more hope there. But who do you have at the 9th seed, Daniel?
I'm looking at either the Sixers or the Magic here.
You with those Magic, man.
I don't know, man.
Down, man.
I think Sixers.
All right.
I go Sixers 9 seed. Yeah, Sixers 9 seed with. I don't trust Embiid to play a full season and like anymore in this day and age. And with them falling back on Maxey and Kelly Oubre, Paul George, and Jared McCain after that, I think 9 seed is very considerable for them.
I agree with you. I have them at the 9th seed too. I think this is a team where, again, Embiid, you have to rely on them. I mean, they could click. I'm still waiting to see the Sixers click. If they click, they could be high up there, I feel like. I mean,
I forgot about VJ too, yeah.
They're not, VJ Edgecombe. That's what was my hard thing. I'm like, I was thinking about VJ Edgecombe. I'm like, all right, if he could be good, they could be up to a 6 seed, I think. However, I look at them and I see the team and I'm like, there's going to be injuries. I mean, Jared McCain, had to get surgery on his thumb or something like that. It's like
that,
it's just like silly injuries. So that's why I just have them at 9th seed. I don't see them being crazy. But who do you have at number 8, Marty?
The 76ers. So
okay. So we're all
I can agree with all of the things that have been said. Yeah, Embiid's not going to play. The onus is going to be on Maxey. Paul George is more worried about podcasting. He'll retire. He'll pause his podcasting around March when they're already mathematically eliminated and say I'm focusing on the championship.
And then it'll start going off. Yeah. You'll be hearing a 30-point game from him at that point and just be like, where was this at any other point in the season, man?
Oh, I love it. Who do you have though, Daniel?
I think the Bulls.
All right,
Bulls.
I appreciate you bringing the Magic down because we are up here and you're starting to trickle them down, and I appreciate that. I do have to say.
Bulls at the 8 seed. I think I'm rolling on that Giddey, Kobe White, and Bucelis trio. I think that trio is going to be exciting. I think it's going to be surprising for the league, especially Bucelis, because I think he's either going to be a sixth man or like sneak right into the starting lineup. But I think that team is going to be exciting to watch.
I have for number 8 seed, I have the Toronto Raptors. I think this is a team where this is their ceiling right here at the 8th seed. I don't see them. I think this is their ceiling for the season. I just don't see them clicking with a injury prone Brandon Ingram. And I just look at this, and you saw this is going to be a team, and we mentioned it last night on post-game show, so go check that out later too. But we talked about it. This is going to be a team where they have battles with the Celtics. So I think 8 is the best I could put them. However, they could be down. They could flip-flop places again with the Pacers. I think that was a stupid move that I did, but they could be 11th. They totally can, but I think their ceiling is 8th seed. I think that's what I see for them. But who do you have at the number 7th seed?
Number
Marty?
7, I have Team Antetokounmpo. That would be the Bucks at number 7. I don't understand this roster composition. Kyle Kuzma is washed. You got rid of Chris Middleton for nothing. You don't have like a true starting point guard because you got rid of Dame for nothing. And it's just a collection of role players and deep bench guys with Giannis. So, like, 7 is gracious in my mind.
Who do you have, Daniel?
As unfortunate as it is to say this, the Boston Celtics at the 7th seed is where I have them. Yeah. Hopefully higher, but yeah, I think us going lower than 8 would be like a little bit of a come on, guys. But I think they could still make the play-in. But yeah, I think I have them 7th seed, barely making the playoff.
That's fair. I tried to bite my tongue the whole time because I have the Bucks too at 7. I see this team. It's just, again, like you said, Marty, I'm not even going to say it because you literally said the best words for it. You know, it's just like, what are we doing? It's like
just a like you know all the names, but like, how are you going to put that on a court? Like,
exactly. Right. It's like, what? It's a head scratcher. It is. And it's like Miles Turner was the golden move for them. And that's why I have them above the Pacers, because I think he's just a difference maker. And I might be eating my words with that. And I think that's a better option than Brook Lopez at the 5, but it's still one where I'm like, it's interesting. So I have them at the 7th. Who do you have at the 6th spot though?
So 6th seed is going to be the Atlanta Hawks. This is their ceiling, by the way. I don't really see them going any higher than this, but I'm not a Trae Young fan. I do love Kristaps Porzingis, but I'm upset that he had to go. But it's really not even about those two. It's about Dyson Daniels and Jalen Johnson. I think if they stay healthy and the way that they 3-and-D and play the game, like, they're exciting, they're fast, they're gritty. Like, they could add like 2 X factors to what this team could be. And I think if they're, banging on all cylinders, the Hawks are going to be a good team, a 6 seed at the best, but a good team.
I like that one. What about you, Daniel?
I think I have the Pacers 6 seed, and you're going to hear more about this name soon in the following questions and stuff. But Andrew Nembhard is going to be X factor for this team. He's going to step up in the absence of Halliburton. And I think that might be the sole reason why I have them at 6th spot, because Nembhard is going to have not really a breakout year because we know him already, but kind of like the same situation Jaylen Brown is in, where he's going to have to step up and take over for the team. And I think that's why I have them that high.
You guys are making me hate myself when putting them so low. I mean, that was a hot take, and I hated putting them so low. And now that Daniel said that, and I haven't even heard the Pacers
I
yet
haven't
from
said Pacers.
Marty. So I'm really eating my words putting them that low. I wish I could switch it, but I can't. I already said it, so I need to stay with it. But in the number 6 seed for me, I have our beloved Boston Celtics. I think I have them the highest on this list because I think this is their absolute ceiling, and this might be pushing it even a little bit. I think either the 6th or 7th seed is where you kind of battle with them. I think they're going to be a team that's going to compete with the Bucks and Raptors. And that's where I kind of see them. That's why I have them in the 6th seed, because I'm like, I don't see them being better than these teams. However, I think they could compete with all the other teams I've mentioned so far. And that's why I have them this high, because I see them being around that level. So it's definitely a hot take because, again, this is a developmental year. So I think this is the highest you kind of put them. And it's definitely pushing it a little bit, but I have them at the 6th seed. Who do you have at the 5th seed, Marty?
So number 5 for me, Detroit Pistons. I like what they did last year. I've liked their come up for the past few years. I think they're a good, hard-nosed team. Cade really came into his own last year. The Pistons are going to be a fun team to watch. I think parking them at 5 is, I think right about where they're going to be. I don't think it's their ceiling or their floor. They could swing either way, but I think the Pistons are going to be a lock in the playoffs, and so I put them at 5. That's where it felt right.
What about you, Daniel?
Said it before, I'll say it again now in a much better position. I think the Magic are going to be the 5 seed.
I'm comfortable. I like that take a lot more than them at the 10th seed. I think it was. I like that one. Thank you. I think you said it all right there.
Yeah, Paul is going to have a good year.
You could give a little more light on that too. Why were they so low for? Why were they so high for you at first? Like what went on there?
I think it's just because I look at this team and most of these guys are nobodies except for I think Goga could be a pretty good player, I guess. Paulo, the Wagner twins, maybe Wendell Carter, and that's about it. You have Contavious Caldwell Pope, Cole Anthony. I don't think he's proved much yet. I don't know. Tristan Da Silva in his second year, Jalen Suggs, Jonathan Isaac, and just like a whole bunch of like.
You forgot Desmond Bain in there though.
Yeah.
Oh, Desmond Bain?
He got traded there in the offseason.
Oh, till now. Oh, I'm only seeing him now. Okay. And they still have McClung too, I think, unless he's been released.
McClung's gone. McClung's
okay, got it. Yeah. But yeah, I guess this is a really exciting team now that I look at it again.
You're like, I think that's the thing. You miss that. No, this is the thing too. Like everyone will miss that one big trade, and it's like, all right, this could be a different team. Like I'm looking at the Pacers again. This is a name that I wish I said higher. Can I swap them with one of them? No, we passed it. But I think with the Magic, it's like, all right, you could forget that trade, and then it's like, all right, maybe they trickle down more. But at the 5 seed, I have to agree with Marty. I have the Pistons here. I think their offseason was just lowering their talent, so their ceiling just goes down a little bit. I still think they're going to be very competitive and a phenomenal team, but I don't see them. I think they could either go 4 or 5. I think that's the highest I'd give them is 4. The lowest I'd give them is 6, but I think they're a good 5 seed. But who do you have at 4?
So number 4, I'm finally going to say it, the Indiana Pacers.
Oh my gosh.
I think that Daniel is correct that Nembhard is going to have a breakout, and I guess it's his second breakout season.
Yeah.
TJ McConnell's going to have to be used a lot more rather than just being like a bench guy, and he brings some energy off the bench. I think that you have Pascal Siakam, who may get to play more of the 5 now that Miles Turner is gone, and he'll be a stretch 5, which is a pain in the ass for a lot of people. And Nesmith was coming into his own. They were the unexpected like champions of the playoffs. Obviously, they didn't win it all, but like if you wanted to give a team the most fun award, it was them. They were like coming back from 30-point deficits with 7 minutes left. They have that energy. Miles Turner may have left. I don't think that hurts them all that much.
I'm really I hate this. Oh my gosh. I can no, I can't. You guys won't let me swap them with
No, they're
someone.
there for you.
No. You had one free pass. You had one pass.
Uh, they're there. They're there. And we have some breaking news that I'm gonna just mention really quick. And this is breaking news after this. The Boston Celtics have waived Jalen Bridges, Kendall Brown, and Wendell Moore after this. So it's how it goes after preseason. So I expect to see all of them play for the Maine Celtics. So
Yeah.
welcome to Maine, hopefully, I guess. So
Hopefully, yeah.
that's just the little breaking news that we have right here. And then yeah, so now we are in the 4th seed, right? Wait, or
Yep.
did you?
Yeah,
No,
it's Daniel's 4th
yeah,
seed now.
Daniel's turn. My bad.
Got it. My 4th seed. This
Daniel's
is an
like, what?
iffy one. I think I have the Bucks.
Okay.
I think I have the Bucks on there. Yeah, I think they won 48 games last season and they were 5th seed. I get that Dame helped, but I think you can't really bank against you. You can't really you can't stop Giannis in general. So I think that name alone speaks so much for that team and how loyal he is and how he's just I'm gonna say more about him later because you're gonna hear that name coming up soon in the next couple of questions. But yeah, I think Bucks at the 4 seed.
I'm gonna go with the Hawks. I have to put them a little higher than Marty because I really love Nickeil Alexander-Walker too. I think that was a big move. I think they could be very low if Porzingis gets injured. However, if he has a healthy season, we haven't seen from him, but if he plays at least more than half of the games this season, I think they're a number 4 seed, and I think that's have to be all said and done for them. But who do we have at the 3 seed?
3 for me is going to be the Orlando Magic. I think the Desmond Bain trade is the main reason why I've bumped them up. I think that they are a very solid team. They played us a little dirty, but they played us hard, and they're on the up and up. I mean, Franz is due for a breakout. Paolo's due for a breakout. Desmond Bain is a muscle hamster who can shoot 3-pointers, so that's an awesome addition. Suggs is solid if he stays healthy, and their bench is pretty deep. So I think they're a solid team. I think their culture, kind of like the Pistons, have been going up year after year. And yeah, I have them at the 3 seed.
Who do you have, Daniel?
The 3 seed, I have the Pistons. I think Pistons 3 seed. Yeah, I think that team is good, man. And even Paolo is their main player. Sorry, Cade.
Yeah,
Cade. Yeah, I think they're from the same year, right? Cade and Paolo.
I think so.
Yeah,
Think
that
the
might have
same
been why I
draft class,
confused it.
yeah.
But yeah, I think Cade on that team together with Jaden Ivey and let's look at some of the other guys. Jalen Duran, Malik Beasley came second in the 3 points made last season.
is he still out though?
No,
He's not with them,
he
right?
cleared his legal trouble. I don't know where he is.
Oh,
I don't know his situation, but
Yeah,
he
I
was
don't
question
either,
mark.
but his name shows up on the squad list, so I'm hoping that means he's good. Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr., I guess. Asar Thompson, I think is gonna be a name to look out for. And then yeah, I think they're gonna be a good team next season.
I have the New York Knicks. I know putting them this high is kind of in the 3 seed. It's like, could we go 2 or 1? I think these three teams I think are going to be battling for the number 1 seed. So I think they could go as high as the 1 seed, but I don't see them as low as the 5th seed. But this is a team where they added some bench and that was much needed. They had Malcolm Brogdon, and I would have put them higher if he didn't just retire yesterday.
Right.
Yeah,
He retired yesterday.
I didn't see that coming out of nowhere. I was like,
games and he's
wait,
out.
what?
It was like Malcolm Brogdon. If he was on their team, it's like, could I see them 2 or 1 seed? Yeah, but that just lowered their bench a little more, so that's why I put them at 3. So who do we have at 2 though, Marty?
For me, I have the Knicks at 2. I think that, even without Brogdon, they are a solid team. They play well. They have to stay healthy. And I think that, firing Tibbs was a big move in that because I don't think that we'll see Jalen Brunson play 42 minutes a night. I don't think that we'll see Karl Anthony Towns playing 40 minutes a night. I think you'll actually get to see rotations and actually get to see some stars rest, so they're actually healthy for the playoffs, which is what they probably the main reason they got rid of their coach. And so, yeah, I think that with a new coach and with a little bit more rest for their best players, they'll be healthier and they'll be a 2 seed.
Who do you have, Daniel?
Cavs, hot take. I think they were, I wouldn't say a fake 1 seed last season, but I think later on in last season they kind of like, I was just like, how are they the one? I think it was just the fact that no other team was like trying hard enough, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't have them as the 1 seed twice in a row at all. But I think this team, the Cavs and the 1 seed are going to be like battling back and forth, I guess. I guess the top three would be battling back and forth for that 1 seed.
I'm going with the Cavs here too. I know that's
Yeah.
hot take for my list because you guys will see why in a minute. But you're like,
who you forgot? I'm trying to think.
You'll see in a second. But I think the Cavs can be the
Pistons.
one team, and I literally just switched them 2 times on my list. So it's like they're right there. I think the standings, I think they might even have the same wins and losses, but I don't know how that works out. But I think that the number one team I have is just going to be a little bit better, but Cavs are still going to be a great team. I think they're going to make a great run even in the playoffs this year. And I just see them a number 2 seed this year. But who do we have at number 1 for Marty the Meat Man?
I have the Cavaliers. I agree that they were a little bit of a fake 1 seed last year, but I think they're going to make us eat those words. I think that they're going to double down and be the 1 seed again and actually look like a 1 seed this year. I think adding Lonzo to the end of the bench is a good pickup. Losing Ty Jerome sucks, but Darius Garland's, got a target on his back, and if he doesn't figure it out, then he's going to be gone. And I think that it's a year that he figures it out. Donovan Mitchell is phenomenal, and there's one guy on this team that I think a lot of people underrate, and if we get to my awards, I think we would understand why I overrate him. But Evan Mobley is a beast, and I think that he's the difference maker. If he can really not even step up his game, because his game's always been good, but just really put it on display, they're going to be a scary team.
Who do you have, Daniel?
I'm not too confident about this. Could change, but I have the Knicks at 1 for the same reason that Marty mentioned. Getting rid of Tibbs was the best thing they could have done for the franchise. And again, like Marty said, with the main starters, with the starters getting more rest, they're going to be healthier for longer, meaning we're going to see them longer in the season and hopefully help the team win more games. But yeah, hopefully we also see some of the bench players get more minutes, which could bring up a breakout season for one of these like rookies or second-year players who never got the chance under Tibbs. So yeah, I think they're also going to be under kind of a developmental season. Not really, but like more so like the bench players getting more minutes. And I think we're going to see some more of that in the season.
I'm still hating myself for the Pacers. So I just have to, I know I've been mentioning it, but I have for my number 1 seed, I have the Orlando Magic. And I know this might be a shocker to some people because it's huge. But I think Desmond Bane is just such a wonderful addition to this team. And yeah, you gave up a lot of picks for him, but I just see this ultimately being one of the best moves in order for the Orlando Magic. And I think what will get them to this number 1 seed is them making a trade at trade deadline and adding a piece or before trade deadline. I think if they do that, that will solidify that. But I think they're going to be back and forth with the Knicks and the Cavs. I think those 3 seeds are going to be battling for the number 1 seed. But I just see the Orlando Magic in a toss-up. I just see the Magic taking it. It's a crazy take, but it can happen. But I know Marty has to leave in a minute. So if you just wanted to bang out 15 through 1, and then Daniel and I will go through how we did. Sure. If you wanted to go 15 through 1 for Western Conference, and then I'll ask you questions about all of the rest of your things. If you want to do that before you exit.
Well, I want to back you up a little bit. I have the Eastern Conference champions being the Magic. I have them at the 3 seed, but I have them being the Eastern Conference champions. Unless Tatum comes back before March, then it's us.
And it's us.
I love it. I gotta be real.
So if you wanted to, since we're on that topic, who do you have being the Western Conference champions?
So Western Conference champions, oddly enough, also my 3 seed in my rankings, but I have the Houston Rockets winning the West. So just to go through my Western rankings, I have the Jazz at 15. The Jazz are the Jazz, and they're going to be the Jazz forever. They are a money laundering operation. I don't understand what they do. They're not a basketball team. Sorry for any Jazz fans listening. I don't know how you found us on Celtics Nation Rise. I'm just being honest. 14, Pelicans, another team that really doesn't have any idea what they're doing. I think it's time to move on from Zion. I think he needs a change of scenery. I think they need a change of scenery. But until they do that, they're going to be bad. 13, even with the new acquisition of Russell Westbrook, it's the Kings. I don't think this team has it in them. I think that they keep trying to make moves that will make them better. I think what they're really doing is just wasting Domas's career at the tail end of it. I really think that Sabonis should be somewhere else because he's not going to win with the Kings. And neither is DeRozan or Levine, and I think they're just cashing out at this point. Number 12, I have the Phoenix Suns, who blew up their team to get Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks. And I don't think that moves the needle on a team with Devin Booker as your 1. I just don't see it. Number 11, I wanted to put them in the play-in, but I don't think they're there just yet. They might be next year, or they might prove me wrong. The Trailblazers. Okay. I think they're a solid team. I think they've got something going on, and they had a push at the end of the season, being one of the best defensive teams, and they added Drew Holiday. That helps their defense, but I don't think it's enough to get over the hump. I don't think they get in the play-in. So, because it's the 10 seed and because it marks you may make the playoffs, we have to put the LA Lakers because they can't not be in the conversation of being in the Western playoffs. I don't have a lot of faith in this Lakers team. LeBron missing the first month. Luka, on a warpath and looks the best that he's ever looked and everything like that. Yeah, they got DeAndre Ayton. I don't care. 1, I'm a Celtics fan, so we already know what that means. And 2, I just don't see this Lakers team really figuring it out. And I don't know that JJ Redick is really a good coach. Great analyst, great guy to talk hoop, but I don't know that he's a great coach. Number 9, I have the Mavericks. I don't think Cooper Flag makes a difference this year. I think there's a problem when you have your 5 best players being a power forward. All of them are power forwards or centers. You have Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, AD, Cooper Flag, and PJ Washington. That's like 5 of your best players. I know Kyrie's there, but he's hurt for most of the season. I don't know how you do that. There's a reason they played Cooper Flag at point guard in one of their preseason games. They don't know what they're doing. So I don't know how they navigate that. Number 8, I have the Grizzlies. I think that if John Morant can stay healthy, then they are going to be a playoff team. I think 8 might be their ceiling, though, because without Desmond Bane, they have Zach Edey and Jalen Wells, who had good rookie years, but I don't really know. They're going, it's a big loss, and it's very young and kind of figuring it out. Jaren Jackson's there still, but I don't know. Number 7, I have the Warriors. I don't see them being as good as everyone. I've seen a lot of media pundits being like, they're going to be the 1 seed, and I'm like, you got 39-year-old Al Horford, 36-year-old Jimmy Butler, and 34-year-old Steph Curry. They can all hoop. They can all play basketball at a high level, but they are all old. All right, they are all old. And also, I just think that Steve Kerr's kind of done. At this point, I feel like he's kind of checked out. I'm sure he's just exhausted.
I think Draymond as well, to add to that, I think Draymond too is kind of dipping down on that level.
He's going into media now.
So exactly. You got Draymond podcasting at halftime. Come on, guys. Number 6, this may surprise some people, but I have the San Antonio Spurs. I think that the acquisitions that they made, the roster that they already have, and the development of Wembanyama, who's rumored to be 7'7" now, which is insane. It's unbelievable. They have last year's rookie of the year in Stephon Castle. I think they have this year's rookie of the year in Dylan Harper. They added Luke Cornett, which is a million bonus points in my heart. I think the Spurs are going to be a playoff team without even needing to be in the play-in. 5, I have the Timberwolves. It just seems like that's where they belong.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. I think that Ant is a great player, but he's not a leader, and they're trying to build around Ant, and I don't see him pushing people. I see him chewing people out and cussing people out, but I don't see him leading people to being a higher seed than 5. Speaking of old teams, surprisingly enough, my favorite retirement home in the NBA, the Clippers, are my number 4 pick. Now, I know I gave the Warriors crap for being old, but at least the Clippers have a lot of old talent. They have a lot of guys, and they're deep with their old talent. So at least they can rotate one guy in after another. I think the acquisition of Brook Lopez was a good move for them. I think that, adding Bradley Beal for basically free was a good deal. If Kawhi doesn't get in legal trouble or league trouble, then they'll be fine. And James Harden's still there. Like, if you look at that roster and rewind 10 years, you go, that's the craziest team in the world. If this is 2015, you can't believe the Clippers roster. Number 3, I have the Rockets. I think the addition of KD was fantastic. I think that, moving away from Jalen Green and letting Alperen Şengün be the guy of their young guys, it was either going to be Jalen Green or Alperen Şengün. I'm glad they went with Şengün. He's a great talent. The Fred VanVleet hit definitely hurts. I think I would have had them maybe 1 if they didn't lose VanVleet. They'll have to figure out point guard, but I think they're going to be the 3 seed. Number 2, I have OKC. A little bit of a fall from grace. Let's just give them a little bit of a championship hangover. They're still going to be fantastic. They're still deep. Alex Caruso's still going to be good. They're a crazy, crazy talented young team and still have 8,000 first-round picks left in their pocket. So I don't think any OKC fan should be worried about being the 2 seed. And last but not least, I think that the Nuggets are going to be the 1 seed. I think the swap of Michael Porter Jr. and Cameron Johnson is an underrated move of this offseason. I think it frees up a lot of minutes and availability on their team. I think that Joker now gets to, relieve some pressure from himself. They don't have Russell Westbrook anymore, so they don't have to live and die by Russell Westbrook's play. They just don't. It's cool to have Russell on your team, but sometimes he's going to win you a game, and sometimes he's going to lose you a game. And that's the truth of the matter, is he can just throw a game away. So that's been eliminated, and I'll give them credit because their coach is 3-0 in the NBA. He has a 100% winning percentage. That's amazing. They'll be the 1 seed.
I love it. And then who do you, if you have a little bit of time, who do you have winning the championship?
So if we have the Western Conference Finals being the Rockets and then the Magic, if it's Rockets versus Magic, in my mind, I think that as much as I wouldn't like to see it, it's going to be a Rockets championship. I think that KD is going to get another ring. I think he's finally going to beat the allegations of needing to be a snake to win a ring. I think that, it's a good situation for him. Ime, as much as we love to hate him here in Boston, he's a solid coach. They have a solid team. There's a lot of young guys around him. He's going to be a leader for a lot of them. And I think the Magic are a great team, but I don't think they're good enough to beat the Rockets in a 7-game series. I just don't.
I love the take. I love it. And if you don't mind giving us our predictions for awards, if you don't mind, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, Sixth Man, and Most Improved Player.
Yeah, I'll run through those real quick too. MVP, I have Joker taking it back. I think that, you give Joker 3 years of having, or 2 years of having it, and then Embiid takes it, and then he has it again for 2 years, and then Shea takes it. He's taking it again. He's coming back for his title, and he's not going to care, and he's going to give it to a pony as a water glass. Like, that's what's going to happen. Rookie of the year, I said it earlier, but it's going to be Dylan Harper. I think the Spurs go back-to-back on
Okay.
Rookie of the Year. I think it's mostly situational. I look at Ace Bailey. I look at I can't remember who went number one for some reason.
Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
Yep.
I look at Cooper Flag. I look at Ace Bailey, and I don't like their situations. I just don't like the team. Like, not that they're on bad teams or that they're going to be like. It's just, I think that Harper's going to plug right into this Spurs team and be a spark plug and be exactly what Castle was last year. Now that Castle has his role. The Spurs are really just good at developing really talented young players, and that's what he is, and that's what he's going to be. Defensive player of the year, I have Evan Mobley. I know it's a hot take. I know everyone wants to say Wemby, and I get it. When you're 7'7" and your wingspan's 10 feet, you're going to be a great defender. I understand that, but I think that Evan Mobley is going to push and shove his way to the top and prove, to me at least, that he has been the guy that I've been saying he is for the past few years and finally get some piece of hardware to prove it. I got to shout out Daniel on this one. My most improved player is Asar Thompson. I think that there is a big step up for Asar Thompson this year. I think that, it was a little bit lost in translation last year as second year on the Pistons, and yeah, his brother's been good, and they've been good together forever. So I'm just waiting for him to rise to that level that his brother's at. And if he does that, then he's definitely going to be most improved because he's going to be lethal out there. And last but not least, our sixth man of the year. Would I love it to be Peyton Pritchard 2 years in a row? Yes. But I don't see that happening. I see it being a different white point guard, and that's going to be Alex Caruso from the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think what he brings off the bench was very much understood, and also a big reason why they made the championship push and they won the championship. But I think it's going to be even more this year that he's just going to be a guy that puts in those minutes off the bench and really shows out for them and gets them to where they need to go, which is the playoffs and nowhere further.
Well, I have to say, thank you again so much for joining, Marty. I know you're running out of time.
No, you're good. I would have loved to stay longer. I got a dynasty basketball draft. I got to go make sure my team is set forever. So
got to. Well, thank you again so much. And shout out your podcast one more time. Everyone go check it out.
First off, shout out Celtics Nation Rise. Thank you guys for having me on. Daniel, great to meet you.
And that's meeting you too, man.
You.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome. What you guys do here is amazing. I love it. I love the content, and happy to be here. I have my own little podcast. Again, it's only on the audio waves or on Spotify, Apple, whatever, however you get your audio podcast. It's called Cross Court Coverage. It is an all NBA podcast focused on the Celtics. So we talk hoop all around the league, and then I give you a little bit of Celtics every week. But that's my spiel. Thank you guys for having me on. I gotta run. This was a lot of fun, and let the discourse begin. You guys take it away.
Thank you, Marty. Good seeing you. Good
Later,
seeing
guys.
you. We will see you later. Thanks. All right, Daniel. As Marty exits out of here, we are gonna give our predictions. So we're gonna go back through standings again. If you wanted to start off with, so we're backtracking again. We wanted Marty to get his in. So if we wanted to start off with Western Conference again, so number 15, who do you have?
Number 15 in the West, I have the Jazz. Can't go with any other team other than that. They have players on that team. They have some names that are going to be exciting and that have already proved that they're going to be good. Let's see, Isaiah Collier is one of them that I'm looking at. Obviously, Markkanen. I don't know if Markkanen is going to be there for much longer. It seems like he's always in some trading talks. But yeah. Walker Kessler, Keontae George, Filipowski, just a whole lot of names, but there's nothing sticking out to them. There's nothing other than Markkanen. There's no one to help him definitely not consistently. And so I think that team is going to need a lot more than just a few of these names to kind of like get higher than that. So yeah, I have the Jazz.
I am right in line with you. I have the Jazz at 15th seed. I think you said it right there. They're a team where it's like they could be good, and if you put them in the Eastern Conference, I think they rank a little bit higher. But in
Oh
this
yeah.
West, and I think the team that they have, I just have them in the 15th seed. It's just a bunch of young talent, and it's like maybe can they blossom into something, but doesn't look that way. So I have them in 15th. But who do you have in the 14th?
I have the Blazers.
Oh, okay. So Marty had them a little higher. Why do you have
Yeah,
them
Marty had him at 10, I think.
11?
And although I do not hate that take, I think, ooh, I just got to the team and they do not look that bad. Okay. They do
So
have Dame who's injured. They do have Scoot Henderson who's injured. I'll stick with my take. Avia is going to have a good season. Shaden Sharp is going to have a good season. Holiday is going to help. Tumani Kamara is a name to look out for in terms of like defense. But I think 14 seed for them is where I have them.
I at the 14th seed, I have the Phoenix Suns. I like I don't know if you saw what KD said, but he was like talking crap about them, saying less expectation equals more fun. Like so I do see that being the case for them. They were a team to look out for against the Milwaukee Bucks, being in the finals a couple years ago, a bunch of years ago now.
They really fumbled that, man. Like looking back at it, they were really this close with Chris Paul on that team, and it was
And
like
then
just
they're like,
crumbled since then. Yeah,
yeah, so I have them at the 14th seed. I think this is a team that's not going to be too exciting to watch. But who do you have at 13th?
I have the Suns at 13th.
Okay, so flip
Same
flop.
reasons there. It was just like Booker's gonna be doing most of the work with Jalen Green, I guess maybe, but there's a reason why the Rockets got rid of him and stuck with Sengun. Who else? Dylan Brooks, I think, is there as well.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks.
Yeah. After losing DeAndre Ayton, I just don't see that team like going anywhere past that. Maybe the ceiling could be 12th seed, but nothing higher than that, in my opinion.
I agree. And we completely flip flopped with that because I have the Trailblazers at the 13th seed. I think they're a team where the addition of Drew Holiday is just an amazing addition, and maybe they could rank higher and be a playoff team when Dame comes back the following year. But as of right now, I have them in the 13th seed. But who do you have in the 12th seed? Sorry, I was blanking. I didn't even
Oh,
talk.
good. 12th seed, I think Marty put them a little too low. I think Pelicans, he put them in that same range, but I think I'm seeing a spark from Zion. I think if you've seen him recently, he's lost a lot of weight. He looks different. He's healthy now. Hopefully for a long run. If that's the case, then I think Pelicans are gonna get the 12th seed, maybe higher. I don't know. 10th, 11th, maybe the highest is the ceiling, but I think I have them at 12 for now.
I have the Kings at the 12th seed. I think this is a team that I've always looked so highly on, and they have been one of my favorite Western Conference teams. But I think, just going down with the roster that they have, and it's like they're just spiraling out of control. And I didn't even know that Westbrook is now with them. So it makes me be like, all right, they could be the 11th or they could go as high as the 10th seed. But I have them at the 12th seed for now. I think I would flip flop them with my 11th seed, and you'll see in a second. But I think they're going to be a 12th seed team. I mean, you look at them, they have a solid team, but it's not going to be a lot of wins. I don't know. I feel like this is a team where they could give some teams some struggles, but I'm not sure. I would say highest I would go is 10th. I think this is the lowest I would go with the Kings. So who do you have at number 11, though?
I was looking at the Jazz, but I mean, sorry, not the Jazz, the Grizzlies. But let's stick with the Kings. I'll go with the Kings, yeah, for 11th seed.
We flip flopped again. I have the Pelicans at the 11th seed. So I think right there, I like what you said with Zion losing weight, but I also, a name I wanted to mention is DeJounte Murray, who I think he's going to be coming back from the Achilles. And I think that's a name that he might be in my cards for something later, but he is a guy that I think he's going to have a big impact. And I think this is the highest I would put them.
I also forgot about Jordan Poole. I didn't know.
Jordan Poole too.
Now, yeah.
So I think this is the highest I'll put them. I don't see them being better than this, but I think this is a good spot where you can put them. And I think this is Zion. I think last year was Zion's last year to prove himself, but this will really be the testament with him. But he gets injured too much, so
Yeah,
I just don't see him being high. Who do you have at 10th seed though?
10th seed. Wow, the West is so different because like
it's so stacked. I'm trying to make a list, and ever since Marty was reading it off, and I'm like, oh wait, that is a good seed. Let me switch that around, and I'm
just the West is way too stacked, man. I think 10th seed. There's no. Oh, let's see here. Because right now I currently don't have a team. I had one, but like after Marty was talking, I was like, okay, let's switch them out. But for who? I think the Clippers for the same reason that Marty said. I think. Oh wait, no. Let's go to Warriors. Warriors 10th seed. Let's go with that. I think they did pick up Seth Curry. They picked up Al Horford. Let me know if I'm missing anyone else, but yeah, just a bunch of old heads. I feel like, and they're just gonna be like more of a fun team to us, just because Curry's still there, but. I think records wise, they're not going that far. They're gonna make the play-in sneakily, like say the same way they've been doing for the past 2 seasons, and maybe they might find themselves in the playoffs. But for now, I think I have them at the 10th seed.
I have the Grizzlies in the 10th seed. I think they're still going to be a fun team to watch, with guys like Jaren Jackson Jr., John Morant, but I think Jaw's healthiness, him staying healthy is a big factor, and I don't know if he will stay healthy. So I'm unsure about that. And I think just losing Desmond Bane was such a punch in the gut for them, and I do not like that for them. So that's why I have them at the 10th seed. I think they're still going to be very competitive with those guys in their lineups, but I just don't see them being a lot better than that. But who do you have at the 9th seed?
9th seed, that's where I have the Grizzlies.
Yeah,
Grizzlies 9th seed. Yeah, the same reasons you said. I think they don't have a bad team. I think it's Jaren Jackson is out. They have Edie and some other names that I can't think of right now. But yeah, I think losing Bane and Dylan Brooks 2 seasons in a row, I think is gonna mess them up somehow.
I have my 9th seed. I have the Clippers. Now I've been contemplating with them. I've been putting them at 7th, and I've been putting them at 9th. I've been flip-flopping these two, and I had them at 8 at one point. I've been just throwing them around. I think their ceiling is the 6th seed, but this is a team where, again, Western Conference, I think everything is going to be close, but I see the 9th seed for them. I think they have a great team of vets. However, if Kawhi is not playing, I think that's a big problem for them. Obviously, losing out on Westbrook, but replacing him with Chris Paul was a big thing. But I think in just such a stacked Western Conference, the lowest they can go is a 9th seed, maybe a 10th seed. But I'm comfortable with the 9th seed, 9th or 7th. But I'm putting them in the 9th seed for now. I think they have a solid team, and in a stacked West, this is where you're gonna have to put teams. So, who do you have at your number 8 seed though?
I have the Clippers in my 8 seed. Yeah, for the same reasons you said, the same reason Marty said as well. Just a bunch of old heads, but the thing they're doing different is that they have a lot of them. And they just have, like Marty said again, a lot of depth. And I honestly don't understand the addition of Bradley Beal. I don't know about that one, but I do like the addition of Chris Paul to that team. I think he's going to add a lot of. I mean, they're not lacking maturity, I guess, in that sense, or experience, but just another guard on the team to pair up with James Harden. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about that team. Derek Jones Jr. is going to be a good center for them. Oh, sorry, he's a small forward. And I also like the addition of Brook Lopez. I think that's going to be nice for them as well. So yeah, I have them at the 9 seed. I said.
Yeah,
8 seed.
8 seed. 8 seed.
Yeah, 8 seed.
I have them at the 9th, but I think their ceiling is a 5 seed, 5 or 6,
yeah.
5 or 6. But they're a good team. I agree. I like your take on yours and Marty's take on Brook Lopez. I think that was a phenomenal addition, pairing him with Zubac, and I love that move. But I think they're too old, and you're gonna battle with some injuries, especially how old they are. So I'm it's gonna be stacked this year. So I say a ninth, but I think they go higher. But my eighth seed is the Dallas Mavericks. I think Cooper Flag is going to have an outstanding season. I know there's been some issues putting him at the point guard and bouncing him around, not playing his actual position. But I think he's going to show out when the season actually starts and really show what Mainers can actually do in the NBA. So I'm excited for that. And I think he is the sole reason why I have them in the eighth seed. And I think they could go as low as 10, maybe 11 or 12, because they're obviously in a crazy situation. However, I think Cooper Flag is going to play to the best of his capability. And when Kyrie comes back, I think those pairing will be phenomenal. And I like him with Anthony Davis, I think, and Klay Thompson. I think him with veterans is just great for him. And I think he's just going to spark and turn into a great player and develop well. But who do you have at the seventh seed?
Seventh seed is where I have the Mavs. And yeah, Cooper Flag is going to be a good player. We're going to have a little bit of a deeper convo in this later when we talk about the rookie of the year, but he's going to be a good player. But like Marty said, they have a lot of bigs on that team. And I think he might have found his way into the starting lineup. I don't know yet. But again, you never know with the amount of fours they have and the amount of fives they have on that team. I guess he could play the three, which I think is the position where he probably will play. But there's also just a whole lot of ball handlers on that team, especially when Kyrie comes back. Because you have Kyrie, Clay, you have AD who's going to want the ball as well. Cooper can find his way on that team, but yeah, I think the highest I have him going is 5. I think the ceiling is fifth seed, nothing higher.
I
I think 7 is good.
Yeah, I have the Warriors at 7th, and I know this is a hot take because they're old, but I think Jimmy Butler, if you give him a full healthy season, I think he's going to show out. I think Al Horford's going to give some great bench minutes, but I don't think he's going to play as good as he does in Boston. I think him in Boston was just a different version of him. I don't know if he'll give it that extra inch for the Warriors, but I just see, Curry, this is a guy who kills the Celtics a lot. And so I just think 7th is comfortable. I had them back and forth with the Clippers at 9. So I think that's the lowest you could go with them is 9, but I think they're going to be solid because they're solid every year. So I have them right there. But who do we have at the 6th seed for you?
6th seed, we have the Wolves.
Okay. Wow.
I think Wolves, yeah, Wolves in that spot. I was thinking either Wolves or Lakers. I was switching out between those, but I think I have the Wolves just because. Let's see here. Yeah, Ant's gonna do his thing. I don't know much about Julius Randle and how he's gonna be looking, but preseason wise, he's been doing good from what I've seen. 4 for 10 shooting in the last game, 6 for 11, but he's gonna be a good second piece. Gobert is going to be interesting, and Naz Reid is kind of like the same team basically. So I think that's why I have them as the 6th seed. Where did they end last? Yeah, same position they were in last year is where I have them right now because no big changes made to the team, and I think it's just going to be the same story.
I have what one? 6. I have the Lakers. I have the Lakers there. I think this is a team where I see them being better than everybody thought. Like I feel like there's a lot of the problems are like LeBron's issues and stuff, but I think Luka is just going to have an incredible season. He looks in shape and he looks like he has, some anger on his back, a target on his back to say the least. And Lakers fans are going to hold him accountable. And I think he's going to really carry them to that 6th seed and giving him a guy in, DeAndre Ayton at the center position. I think that's a good spot for them. They could go a lot lower, but I don't see them. I see them the highest going a 5 seed, but I have them at the 6th seed. Who do you have at the 5th seed though?
5th seed is where I have the Lakers. And I agree with you. I think they're going to, with the addition of Ayton, I think they're going to be a team to look out for with, we hear the same thing about Luka every season. Yes, it's gonna be his season. It's gonna be his season. But I think this is not his last chance. But I think he's gonna really try to prove that this season. as he's already healthy and hopefully gonna look to average that same consistent what near 30 points a game or something like that he usually does, and I think that's gonna help a lot with the team, especially with LeBron hopefully coming back from his injury and helping out with that. But yeah, I think I have them at the fifth seed, especially just because Reeves is going to do his thing. Connect, Hachimura. And again, the addition of Aiden on that team, they finally have a good center who's not Jackson Hayes. And so I think they're finally now moving on from AD, and hopefully that means good things for the team.
I have the Spurs. So this might be a shock. Um, I think the Spurs can go higher. I think the Spurs can go lower. Again, in a stacked West, I'm not sure where to put them, but I think with Wemby and now the addition of Luke Cornett, and I love that duo now in San Antonio, and I love Dylan Harper, and I think they're going to be a team where we see them going in a similar route as the OKC Thunder. I think this is a team where in the next couple of years they're going to be up in the top of the West. And I just see them and especially from what Marty the Meat Man said about Wemby, if he's 7'7" and just having such great mentors in this offseason, I think he's going to be a beast. And I think, this is a guy where I contemplated putting him at MVP this year, just because how much of a beast I think he can be. But I think the 5 seed is a good thing, and I think they'll be a good playoff team. Make it maybe get in the Western Conference champion with another team, I will say later, and maybe lose to it. But I think they're young, and that's where their experience will run out. But I think they're going to be a solid team this year. But who do you have in the number 4 seed?
That's where I have the Spurs. Yeah, we're kind of like back and forthing with these teams, but yeah, I think I agree with you on all of that. I think Wemby's going to be a phenomenal player, and I like the take that you said. I think they're going to be at the same position as OKC was, where everybody was doubting them for being too young and like not having that much experience. But I think you're right. I think they will have a chance to finally make the Western Conference Finals, or finally go past that first round, which has been their roadblock for so many seasons now. So yeah, if they get past that, I think they have a really promising future as a franchise.
I have in the number 4 seed, I have the Denver Nuggets. I think getting Cam Johnson was such a great addition in order to swap him out for Michael Porter Jr. However, I still see lack of depth for the Nuggets. This is a team where they could be in the 3rd seed, and I kept flip flopping them in the 3rd seed. But this is a team where I think they're going to be great, and I think Jokic is going to have a great year, and I think as a team as a whole they're going to have a phenomenal year. But I think they go high, and I think you could even put them at a 1 seed sometimes. Again, this Western Conference is going to be back and forth the whole time, so I just think I'm comfortable with putting them at the 4, though. But who do you have at the 3 spot?
At the 3 spot is where I have the Rockets.
Okay.
I was switching between Rockets and OKC, but yeah, I think after the champion season, you can't put the OKC below 2. So yeah, I think the Rockets with the addition of AD are gonna have a good season. I think. Yeah, they ended 2nd seed last season. I guess they could end either 2nd seed or 3rd seed this season, but I think I have them at 3rd seed for now.
I have the Timberwolves. I think, getting rid of Nikhil Alexander Walker was a huge punch in the gut for them. However, I think Rob Dillingham is going to step up tremendously for the Timberwolves, and I think he's going to be a difference maker. And, like you said, we saw them go in the 6th seed. I think I could totally see them even falling to the 9th seed depending on how their team goes. But I think Ant is just going to play with a chip on his shoulder, and I think they're going to have a good year. And I think they're young, and you clearly see that, but I think that will play in their favor, and I think they're going to be a good 3 seed. But who do you have in the number 2 seed, Daniel?
I have OKC in the 2 seed.
Okay.
So yeah, I think they're gonna come back wanting to like prove more than they've already proven. They're definitely going to make the playoffs, no doubt about that. Might even make the conference finals again, no doubt about that. Might even go to the finals again, who knows? But yeah, I see them as the 2nd seed because yeah, not much big changes made to that team. I wouldn't make any changes either because that team is damn near perfect. Reminds me so much of that Celtics championship team where like it was just a perfect five and a good bench, which is what you need to win that championship. I think I agree with Marty there on the Alex Caruso take. I think it's going to be such an X factor defensively for that team, and yeah, I have them going second.
I have the Houston Rockets. I think the addition of KD was just such a big factor for them and great coaching staff, and they're young. I think losing Jalen Green was a big thing for them. However, I don't think it was a huge punch in the face because I think KD is going to fill those shoes tremendously. I'm not a big fan of KD. And I think this. I think the only way they're in this 2 seed is if KD could stop playing sour and he can accept that he's not that guy anymore. I think that's the big thing with the Rockets is he needs to understand that he can't be the number one guy every night. I think he needs to accept being the number 3 or 4 man, or on night to night basis. Sometimes he can be the number one man, but making it his team is not the way to go. I think this is a Rockets team who had a lot of success last year. And if KD tries to make this his team, I'm not a fan of that. So I have them at the number 2 seed, but they could blow this up or they could go past this and be the number 1 seed. I think they're going to be an excellent team. And I see them still being competitive. I see them being a very competitive team. But who do we have at the number 1 seed for you, Daniel, for the Western Conference?
The Denver Nuggets is who I have
Okay.
and the one seed. Jokic is gonna be Jokic. Murray's finally back. He's active. He's healthy. If he stays that way, Jokic has a good, consistent second guy. Christian Braun is gonna have an amazing season. I presume he's gonna be that kind of young guy on the team that's like knows how to do his thing. He reminds me a lot of Pritchard because they're both right now just the white guys like doing their thing in the league, like kind of young. And so I see Braun having a really good season. Cameron Johnson and Valanciunas and Bruce Brown. Those three guys, especially getting Bruce Brown back. Bruce Brown is the guy that helped them. I wouldn't say it was the reason, but on that chip that they won, you'll see on the roster, and Bruce Brown was a contributing factor. I think the Nuggets getting him back is going to help a lot. Even if he's going to be on the bench, he's going to be a good piece. They have some depth with him now. Aaron Gordon is going to be part of the bench, I presume, with Cam Johnson coming in. I don't know, but I think it's kind of the opposite. Griffin, you said they don't have that much depth. I think they
No,
have some.
now that you're saying that, they have a lot more depth. So I'm eating my words because now that you mentioned their team more and it's kind of making me question, did I put them in the wrong position? They could be the 3 or 4, but and keep going, Daniel. Sorry. Yeah, they have a lot more depth than I thought though.
Yeah, it's all good. I think Valanciunas is going to be a nice backup center for Jokic. I think he's going to get much needed rest now, which might help keeping healthier for longer and help him be that dominant center we all know him to be. Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to be coming off the bench or being the three.
They have Tim Hardaway too. I forgot about. See,
Yeah,
I'm eating my words. Like they have depth. Wow.
yeah, they have really good pieces to that team. Peyton Watson and Strother. The average guy might not know them, but I think I paid a lot of attention to the Nuggets last season, and those guys are going to be good coming up to their second and third season. I think for both of them, and yeah, I think I have them coming in the one seed.
Wow. I have the OKC Thunder. I think a
It's
lot
going
of
to be the one or the other for
it,
next season. I'm pretty sure,
it's
in my
gonna
opinion.
be they're gonna be up there. They're not gonna be lower than the 3 seed, but they're gonna be either 2 or 1, I think. And I think number 1 is where I comfortably put them. I think they're a team that asserted dominance last year all throughout the regular season, and I think they're gonna do it once again. They have a championship on their back now, and they are just a team where they just got even younger somehow too. And this is a team where if you win one championship and you're young and now have championship experience, they're gonna keep firing and firing. So that's why I have them at the number 1 seed. But who do we have being Eastern Conference champions and who do we have being Western Conference champions? And then we'll go to the finals. Who do you have, Daniel?
Eastern Conference. Regardless of the standings, I'm thinking either Bucks or Knicks.
Wow. Like,
Yeah, Bucks. I think it's just random. I think it's just.
who are you going with though? Are you going with the Knicks then?
I think just because Giannis is back to one of those seasons where he has no help, I think I have to go with the Knicks. I think Knicks, yeah.
And
Knicks is the Eastern Conference.
who do
And
you have?
then Western, the Nuggets, definitely.
All right, and then I'll go with mine. I have the Orlando Magic, the winners for the Eastern Conference. I think having them in the number one seed for me, I think they're going to be a team with Desmond Bain, who's just going to go crazy and just be a crazy competitive team. And I just see them making it over that hump this year. And I think they got the needed experience that they needed. This is a guy who could add a lot of value to their team. So I have them winning that. And it's not a huge stacked East, so it could be whoever, but I have the Magic making it there. And I have them paired up against the OKC Thunder, as I think, I know there's a lot of hate towards Shea and everything, but I think, this young team that just came off a championship, they're going to know what to do, and they're going to be a team that's going to make it to the finals once again. And I think we're going to see a lot of similarities to last season, which I hate to see, but I think that's going to be the thing. And who do you have winning the championship, though?
I think Nuggets. I'm either Nuggets or Rockets in my opinion, but I think I'm really on the Nuggets train as like my team in the West. I would say just because yeah, can't really go around Jokic. Can't really bet against him. So yeah, I have them winning their second chip in the past 5 years now or something like that. So yeah, I think I have the Nuggets.
I have the Thunder winning. I have the Thunder. I think the Magic are going to be a young team, and I think depending if they get a piece at the trade deadline, I think they could be more competitive, and that's the only reason I could see them making it to the finals. But I think the Thunder are just a team where they are so young and they won one championship, and it's a dynasty in the making. I mean, I think we all said it. It wasn't a fluke that they got there last year, and they proved that. Obviously, going to a game 7 against the Pacers, but Halliburton going down. I think this is a team where they have some experience under their belt, and I think they're going to be the champions, which a lot of people are going to hate me for saying that, but I think it's the case. Unless Marty said the Celtics make it. I mean, if Tatum's back,
Hey,
we're winning the championship.
he's already dunking. Wait till you see him on the court again. It might be the case. Might be the case.
Might be the case, but now we'll go over the awards. I couldn't think of it. Who do we have for Rookie of the Year? We'll start off with Rookie of the Year.
Everyone's going Cooper. I don't think Cooper. Cooper is top 3. I don't think Cooper wins Rookie of the Year.
I was shocked when he said Dylan Harper. Who do you have?
Yeah, hot take. Dylan Harper's top 3, but I think he might not win it. But
I know who you're going with. I bet I could just see it. Can I guess?
Yeah, I guess.
VJ Edgecombe.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, I have him winning Rookie of the Year. The team is stacked when it comes to guards because you have McCain coming back, you have Maxey, but I think he's going to be like a 6th or 7th man on the team. Might not be a starter exactly, but I think he's going to prove that he deserves that spot on that team, and that's why the Sixers picked him. I think I have Coop second on mine. Yeah, I have Cooper Flag second, and then Dylan Harper third.
I am going Cooper Flag. you know how much I praise Cooper Flag and everything because I grew up 30 minutes from him, and so I was out there playing, and I've said this take so many times, but I was out there playing football. Like we played Nokomis, so I was out there playing football while he was in the gym, probably throwing down dunks. So I am very high on Cooper Flag, and I think this year he's gonna have to, like, a lot of people don't know what he has, as he didn't really have a big summer league. He didn't have a really big preseason, and I think he's saving it all for regular season, and that's why I'm going with Cooper Flag. And I think you got to raise the flag because he's getting Rookie of the Year. That's what I'm going with. I don't know. I think this is definitely a tough one because this year's draft, I think, was very stacked, and I think that's the problem. But I think I just really see Cooper Flag winning Rookie of the Year. But who do we have for Defensive Player of the Year?
I have Wemby, obviously. And then second place, I have Mobley. and then third place Dyson Daniels. I think those two are interchangeable, but I think Wemby at one is definitely the case.
I'm going Wemby too. I think his development this offseason and just his training is just going to be such a key factor. And I think I think I would almost put him defensive player of the year and maybe MVP, but I think just defensive player of the year is without a doubt because I think he's going to come back and assert dominance and be that defensive player of the year that we all know and love. And I think this is a guy who you guys got to keep an eye out for because he might be the next in the GOAT conversation. It's just how it is. I mean, he's incredible. And he, as Marty said, he might be 7'7" now and has gained weight too. This guy's going to be a freak of nature and he's an animal. So I have him winning defensive player of the year. But who do we have at most improved player?
Um, I have Nembard on that. Yeah,
Okay.
I said it first. I said it when I talked about the Pacers that I was going to come back to him, and I think, yeah, I have Nembard, and then Cornet is a sneaky pick for that. I think because him that partnership with Wemby is going to be insane in my opinion. I think,
I thought about that. I literally thought about Luke Cornett. I really did.
yeah, Cornet is going to be up there in my opinion, and judging by his last game, he had 16 points. Let's see if we can look that up. Went perfect from the field, if I remember correctly. 16 points, 7 rebounds, 6 for 6 from the field, 4 free throws. I think he's going to be an exciting player to, on that team, and they definitely did good. If there's any team that I wanted to see him go to, I did not expect the Spurs, but I like it. I think it's a great fit for him.
I agree. I have this one's going to be a tough take because I was very unsure to put here. I have DeJounte Murray. I think him coming off of Achilles tear is tough, and I think this is a player who I don't think it will be Zion carrying this team. I think DeJounte Murray can come out with a bang. I've always been big on DeJounte Murray, but I agree. I think right in the review mirror and who you could see is Luke Cornett, and I was almost scared to put him there. But I think now prying him away from the Boston Celtics and putting him with a player like Wemby, I love it, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So I am gonna put him as a runner up, but I'm gonna stand by it. I'm gonna go DeJounte Murray. But who do we have winning sixth man of the year?
They didn't have that many options with this one. I don't. There's no one screaming out to me yet. So I
See,
think I'll just,
that was me for most improved player.
yeah, that's fair. I think I'll just have Caruso because um
You like what Marty said.
yeah, I like what Marty said. Marty changed my mind because at first I had who did I have for six man? I think Matas Bucelis for the Bulls. I think is gonna be nice, but I think Caruso is gonna be that guy for the OKC.
I like that one. And I'm going with Anthony Simons from your Boston Celtics. I don't know if Pritchard will get it because Pritchard I feel like will be a starter.
Yeah, I also had Kata on my list. I forgot about that. I had Kata because
He's gonna battle with a starter though. Yeah. I have Anthony Simons though. I
yeah,
feel like this is a guy who, I think Pritchard deserves the starting role. And I think if the Boston Celtics end up keeping Anthony Simons, this is a guy who I think can really stand out and become the sixth man of the year. And I am just in love with his game. I think last game he had a really rough game, but the game before he was playing like he was Damian Lillard. People said there was a comparison with there. So I really like him there. And I think if Pritchard gets that starting spot, then Anthony Simons is going for sixth man of the year. However, if not, I will go with Peyton Pritchard running it back again. I think whoever for the Boston Celtics is that six man, I think they're going to be an X factor for the Celtics, and I think it's going to be Anthony Simons, but I could go with Peyton Pritchard as well. But who do we have for your MVP, Daniel?
let's get a little suspense going. I think for third place.
Can do you want a little drum roll?
Oh yeah, let's start with third. I'm gonna do third to first.
All right. We'll wait for the drum roll.
All right. Third, interchangeable. I have three players in third. I couldn't pick one, so either Luca, who's coming back, finally being healthy again. I think Luca, Wemby, and Shea are going to be battling for the third spot. Wemby, I'm finally starting to put him there in that MVP convo just because we know how good he is. Second place, I have Giannis.
Okay.
He's been a top three in the league for the past 5 seasons, and I think he's gonna be second next season. Even with no help, that just means he has more of a chance to like basically score all the points for the team for the most part, and just like honestly kind of like stat pad his way there, but not really. But like he's gonna get the most chances on the team, obviously.
And
So
we'll give you a drum roll. For who is your MVP?
yeah, Jokic.
Okay.
I have Nikola Jokic, like Marty said, coming back for that trophy after, in my opinion, Embiid does not deserve that season. I think Jokic should have three-peated. Um, I hot take. I don't think Shea deserved it either. I do not think Shea deserved it either.
Wow.
I think Jokic deserved that. You can't lead your team in points, rebounds, and assists and not be MVP. So yeah, I think I have Jokic coming back for that title next
All
season.
right. We'll go 4 through 1 for me. And mine is super hot, and I'm gonna get a lot of criticism for people, and I will justify myself after. But I think number 4, I'm going Giannis. I think he's a player who he's gonna perform every year, and I think this is a year that he's gonna perform as well. No, actually, sorry, I have Giannis and Wemby like in that category. I think they're gonna be close. So I have them tied for fourth. For third, I'm going with Jokic. I think he is going to be phenomenal, but he's going to have a backup center this year, and he's going to have a team where it's not going to just have to be him scoring the ball. So
That's
I'm
true. Didn't think about that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And then number 2, I'm gonna go with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I think last year, people may have said, like you said, Daniel, it could have went to Jokic, but this year I think he's gonna just have another outstanding season, and this is gonna be a season where it's like, all right, we would feel more comfortable giving it to him this year.
Who
And
do you have on your one? I'm confused. There's no
it's
names that come to mind.
it's gonna be one where. Oh, and I want to also give honorable mention to Anthony Edwards. I think he could get an honorable mention as well. So put him in 4. I'm gonna get hate for this one, and
Uh-oh.
I do not want to do it because it's Luka Doncic. I think is gonna win the MVP. It's one where I know I'm gonna get hate for this, but this is one where I would have given it to him if he were with the Mavericks still. And I'm not doing it because he's with the Lakers, but I'm doing it where he's in better shape. And I see him having an MVP in his career. Like I don't think we're gonna look back at Luka's career and see no MVPs. And if you have to give him an MVP, I think it's gonna be this year where he's kind of given the role in Los Angeles. I almost said in Dallas. So see that proves that I'm not supporting him with the Lakers, but I just think this is going to be a player where he got into shape. He's going to be a better player for the team, and I don't know. I just see him winning MVP, and it's a tough take because I hate to say it, but every time I looked at this, I'm like, it's screaming Luka this year.
Yeah, I agree. I have him in my top, I think top 5, I said, or something like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I have him in that same position too, and I wouldn't be surprised if you wanted over Jokic or any of the other guys. So I agree with you on that.
And so that's our predictions. So drum roll for all our predictions. We'll see at the end of the year what happens if we get any right. If we get them all wrong, who knows? We might be wrong with every seeding even. But any final thoughts on that before we get into our final topic?
Just a little heads up before I get into that. The Magic and the Pelicans are currently playing. Magic are up by 17 points. Wagner has 13 of their 38 points right now. And in the first quarter, the
Wow.
Magic are touching 40 points. So yeah, I just wanted to give a little heads up for that. Um,
So see what I mean? That's my number one seed. That's my Eastern Conference champions right there.
yeah, that's how I mentioned it. I was like, oh, Griffin might not be wrong about this. They're looking good right now. But yeah, no final thoughts so far. But I think this preseason has been exciting for every team. I feel like there's been upsets. There's been explosions. There's been blowouts. There's been close games. There's been overtime games, which I did not think we would see. But yeah, I think um as usual, it's going to be the West being more competitive and more like fun and more exciting than the East. But I think the East next season is going to have a lot of changes with Halliburton being out, Tatum being out, Giannis being the star player once again. No second, no help basically. So I think next season the East is going to be a lot more exciting than it has been. I will say that.
Um, I agree. I think a stacked West. I think the more viewership will be over in the West this year, but keep an eye on the Celtics still, and that's where I want to get into our final conversation. Is do you have any final predictions or thoughts on the Celtics going into this season? Because you guys had me hyped up. Do you have any thoughts on their young talent like Hugo Gonzalez or any of their new players like Ron Harper Jr., Shulga, and Amari Williams? What are your final thoughts on the Boston Celtics before we get into the 2025-2026 NBA season? And what are your final thoughts on the Boston Celtics?
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't see much from the first round picks for the Celtics this preseason. So yeah, I don't really have any thoughts on any of them except for Hugo Gonzalez.
He
I
did
I
I tell
I
you
flipped the switch on that.
because,
You got me with that.
because we were talking about this because I hated the pick at first. And if you guys go
If you
back
guys
to
go back, if you guys go back to the podcast where we were reacting to the picks, I
yeah,
was the one that was like,
well, we were doing it
on it. Yeah.
live. We were doing it live on CTW, and I'm like, what? And then Seamus saved us. Seamus, shout out to Seamus
Shout out
because
to Seamus. Yeah.
he convinced me, and then I talked to Daniel, and Daniel's like, I don't know. But what are your give us your takes on Hugo Gonzalez?
He's a defensive menace. I think that's most of the stuff I have to say for him. You see that block he had last game? Oh my. Like I was just like, okay, I did not think he had that in him. But yeah, that chase down, was it a chase down? I think last time I checked it was a chase down. I can't remember. But in our last win against the Raptors, he had a really good block. Pair that up with his 8 points, 1 assist, 1 rebound, 50% from the field, two threes, 100% on that range. I think it's going to be exciting next season. Josh Minot is going to be another name I want
Why
to hear.
not? Why not? Why not?
Minot is going to be good. He's going to be good. I'm so excited, man. Coming up next season, you're supposed to be sad as a Celtics fan because no Tatum, but I think we have what it takes to kind of not really replace him, but um kind of just keep it at a high standard still as well, especially with Joe still being our coach. We still have high expectations, guys. Don't give up on the Celtics next season because we'll be back and we'll be back firing.
I love it. You got me hyped up. You got me hyped up. I have to say first about Hugo Gonzalez. This is a guy I hope to see in Maine, and this is a guy where I think he is going to really be a player where I think he might surpass even Baylor Shireman at some point. I think this is a guy who, and I know that's a hot take, but I think this is a guy who can really become something with the Boston Celtics. And I turned the door on Hugo Gonzalez. I have opened that door, and I'm a big fan of him. I
He had
have to.
3 blocks. He had 3 blocks in his steal in his first game, by the way, in the first preseason game, which is insane.
He's nice, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. He just never got an opportunity. And he never got an opportunity overseas. And he's young. He's young. He's 19 years old. He's young. He has plenty of time to develop into a great player. So I'm big on Hugo Gonzalez, but I like what you said earlier with Chris Boucher. I'm big on him. I think he's been a
Forgot
standout.
about him. Yeah, he's gonna be nice, definitely.
I think he's going to be the biggest piece that we got him and Anthony Simons, obviously. I'm also really big on Luca Garza. I think he has more to prove, but I think that's going to be a guy to watch out for. And Minot, I mean, Minot's been the lawnmower, the lawnmower. I think he's going to be a guy to watch out for too. I think this Celtics team is going to be fun. I think they're going to look more like the 22 Boston Celtics, and they're going to really shock the world. And I don't think they're going to be as bad as people think. And I think they could be a solid team. They're going to be young. And I said it last night on post-game show. Well, Rob said it, and I agreed because I said usually the Celtics take their foot on the gas pedal, but they're so young. They're just going to crash out instead because they're so young. And I think the big thing about the Boston Celtics is they're going to run this year. I mean, they're not like last year with Al Horford and Drew Holiday. They had some older pieces on the team. Now they've just replenished this team with young talent. And I think they're going to be fast, agile, and they're going to want to win. I mean, the expectations are set high here. The standards are high. And this is going to be a fun team to watch. And I'm excited for opening night. And we're going to be bringing you guys back recaps. We're going to be bringing you guys back the weekly podcast. And I'm excited for it. But do you have any final thoughts on the Boston Celtics before we close out?
Yes, I have two final questions. First of all, how do we feel about that Xavier Tillman game winner against the Raptors? I know you mentioned it last night at the post game recap, but let's just hear your thoughts once again about that game in general and also Xavier Tillman.
It's just crazy that we have a guy who we thought would not be on the Celtics. We're like, all right, bye-bye Tillman. And now it's the thing is, we didn't need him last season. We had Luke.
No, we did not.
Al Horford. Now we need Tillman. We need Tillman to show up. And I think that he will. I think there are going to be points in this season where you see him even maybe taking over that 4 or 5 spot in the starting lineup. I think don't be shocked depending on the matchup if Tillman starts some games. I think that's going to be a guy to keep an eye out for. And I'm a big fan of it. And I think preseason we played pretty well. And it's definitely going to be a lot different in the regular season. But I think this is going to be a surprising team where they're in a developmental stage. And I don't think they'll be tanking. I think they're going to be developing. And again, these are young guys in Josh Minot and Luca Garza where you could develop them this year. And then next year when Tatum's ready, you could turn these $2.5 million guys into superstars. Not superstars, but great additions.
Higher value players, yeah.
Higher value players, great additions to go inside with Jason Tatum. So I am a big fan of this team, and I think this is a team where you could develop these players into becoming championship caliber players. But what are your thoughts with Tillman, and what are your thoughts with the rest of preseason as well before we close off?
Tillman was exciting that game, and that game winner was insane. I think Tillman would be the last person I expected to get a game winner on that. I'm honestly not gonna lie, but I'm glad he did. And I didn't know something like some of the comments mentioned the fact that he hit that same game winner against the Kings. I went to rewatch. I didn't know about that, and I was like, "Wow, that is very similar."
Really
very similar shot. Yeah, I don't know what game it was. I can't remember, but yeah, apparently according to the comments on like social media, he was like, "Oh, he did that exact same thing against the Kings," and I was like, "Oh, really?"
And so, yeah. Can I mention something too? That just shows this year with no Jason Tatum, we don't know who's going to be taking the last shot in a game. Like, I don't think, unless Brown shocks everyone, I don't think it could be between Brown, Derek White, and Pritchard, but I don't think there's a clear person that's going to take over a game for the Boston Celtics. I think there's going to be a mixture of players
spread out between like five to 6 guys.
Yeah. And it's going to be like 7 guys that you're going to see playing constant minutes. And then when the other guys in, it's like, oh, they're developmental pieces. They need time too. But continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to take that over though.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I'm looking at Tillman's stats right now. 7 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist. Again, you probably already mentioned all this yesterday, but yeah, he had a good game. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen next season with rotations and with the starting lineup. Talking about starting lineups, my final question before we end this, before we get to the closing sentences, if you had to pick a starting five, if you're Joe Mazzulla and you're picking a starting five for next season,
For
what
this season, like this,
for this season? Yeah, for this
yeah.
season, who's your starting five for the season?
I'm going Keita at the 5 because I think that's a guy that they're going to lean on at first. I think they might switch it up, but at first I'll put him at the 5. I'll put Boucher at the 4. I'll put at the 3. I'm going with Derek White. I meant not Derek White. Jalen Brown. Sorry, Jalen Brown. And then I'm having Derek White at the 2, and then at the 1 I'm having Pritchard, and I'm having Simons come off the bench. I think that's the route. 6-man, I'm going with Simons. What is your 5 for the Boston Celtics, though?
That's the exact reason why I asked. We have the exact same lineup, and I have Xavier Tillman as that 7th man, looking
Yeah.
into the similar role as Al Horford last season. He was kind of the 7th man of that team, and I think Tillman will fill in that role as well. So, yeah, same exact starting lineup. I think Boucher and Keita at that front court is going to be nice, exciting to watch. So, yeah, I think that's my starting 5 if I had to pick one.
And I'm excited for and one thing we have to watch out for too is Sam Hauser. I mean, I
Forgot
think
about him. Yeah, wow.
that's a name that we have to throw out there too. Maybe that's a name that could be moved at some point. But Sam Hauser's on the team too, Baylor Shireman, and I like guys like Minot, and Luka Garza. I think those are guys to watch out for too. I think it's going to be a fun season. Ultimately, it's going to be questionable, but it's going to be a fun season, and I'm excited for it. So, again, do you have any final thoughts before we close out, though? After you ask that question, a great question, Daniel. I have to say, but any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think everything about Celtics has been discussed happily, and I had a lot of fun talking about everything. And yeah, honestly, I just got myself excited about the season, so
I'm ready.
I cannot wait. It's actually going to be,
Wednesday, right?
yeah, on my birthday. That's going to be
happy early birthday to Daniel, and let's get a win for Daniel on.
Hell yeah, yeah. First game is going to be on my birthday, the 22nd, against the Sixers. What better team than the Sixers, man? I wish we had Tatum so he could keep owning them, but maybe White will step in, maybe Pritchard will step in, but yeah, I hope you come up with a win on that Wednesday.
Well, on the recap, we're gonna have to be singing "Happy Birthday" to Daniel. So everyone, wish him some happy birthdays in the comments. But I'm ready now, Daniel. I'm ready. So next Wednesday, make sure to tune in and go tune in to Celtics Talk Weekly too. Go watch their season predictions too with their stats and predictions for all of that. So go check that out. We wanted to give you some coverage here at Celtics Nation Rise as well. So make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications. Are you ready for next Wednesday, Daniel?
Oh, yeah. You know I'm ready, man. Come on.
And the birthday, a happy early birthday. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications to be notified every time we upload. Again, we were so hectic with this off season. It's time to start up the regular season, and we're going for season number 2. So again, thank you everyone for supporting us, and we are ready to keep it going. So make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you guys with the next one. Peace, guys.
Peace.